After receiving a text from my fiancée Catherine saying she was calling off the wedding and it was over, I replied with just a simple acknowledge. However, things took a surprising turn when I showed her family the secret folder on her laptop. Suddenly, she became desperate to reconcile. At 29 years old, I was supposed to be getting married next month, but that was no longer the case. Last Tuesday, I was at work dealing with a server crash when I received a text from Catherine. She said, "We need to talk," but I knew there was nothing left to discuss. The wedding was off, and she was already at her sister's without any explanation. After 5 years together, I replied with a single word acknowledged and went back to focusing on fixing the server. My coworker Terry noticed something was off and asked if I was okay. I explained that my engagement had just ended via text, which left him in shock. What Catherine didn't realize was that her laptop was still at our apartment, and she had left it logged in. Inside was a folder labeled wedding planning that I had never looked at out of trust. Curiosity got the best of me. Funny thing when your world implodes inside that folder. So folders, menu options, stress ideas, and exit strategy. Yeah, exit strategy. The folder was created 8 months ago. Inside were apartment listings, job applications to places across the country, and a spreadsheet. A spreadsheet calculating how much money she could extract from our life together. My savings that she had access to. She'd already moved 15K, estimated value of gifts she could claim, even a column for emotional damage compensation she thought she could get from my family. But the crown jewel, email drafts to someone named Arthur. Apparently, Arthur was her true match from some astrology app. They'd been talking for 6 months. She was planning to leave right after the wedding. Wanted the gifts, the attention, the party, then bounced to start her authentic life journey with crystal healing Arthur in Sedona. I sat there, staring at emails where she called me her safety net and the boring option, where she detailed using our wedding as a launch pad for her fresh start. She chuckled about how I'd be caught off guard because of my naivety and predictability. I, however, was ahead of the game as I had made copies of everything. As I sipped on a beer, I began making some phone calls. Update. The situation has gained huge attention. We'll address common inquiries. Yes, it's legitimate. No, I'm not okay, but I'm managing. Yes, I have retained a lawyer. Upon uncovering Catherine's escape plan, I reacted like any typical AGI would, by crafting my own spreadsheet. My first call was to my friend who is a photographer. I requested if he could assist me by creating a beautiful presentation for reminiscing, offering to pay his regular fee. The second call was to the wedding venue. I detailed the circumstances to Sandra, the manager, who surprisingly remained collected. In my 20 years here, I've seen a lot, but this is a first. Although the deposits were non-refundable, as your credit card is on file, she transferred everything under my name and even extended further assistance if needed. Third call was to Catherine's mom, Jen. Now Jen is. The good-hearted traditionalists value principles like honor and commitment. After informing her that Catherine had called off the wedding, I respected her decision, but felt it was important for her to understand the reasons behind it. I mentioned that I would be visiting the next day to return some paperwork left by Catherine. That evening, Catherine's sister, Hannah, began bombarding my phone with messages. It turned out Catherine needed space to heal from what she perceived as my toxic masculinity, a notion she based on my long work hours that supported Catherine's artistic pursuits, despite her limited success in selling paintings. I acknowledged Hannah's perspective and assured her that Catherine's belongings would be packed by Friday. Upon receiving criticism from Catherine's friends, one of whom cited her legal rights and another criticized my ability to handle an independent woman, I remained unruffled. I clarified that under the lease agreement, Catherine had 30 days to vacate, but out of courtesy, I extended the deadline to Friday. Suddenly, a group of friends supporting Catherine appeared, with one labeling me as a man-child and another suggesting I needed to address my spiritual energy for personal growth. I found receipts for jewelry that she had purchased herself, which she had claimed were gifts from admirers at work. I also discovered a credit card with $8K in debt that I was unaware of, along with books on how to marry rich and maintain happiness, and guides on exit strategies for women. Being predictable, I meticulously documented everything. On Thursday morning, I arranged to meet Jean at a Starbucks with my laptop and a presentation from my photographer friend. Jean's expression shifted from confusion to shock to anger. You see, Catherine had falsely portrayed me to her family as emotionally abusive and controlling, claiming that I was the one who wanted to delay the wedding and that she was fearful of me. However, the email she sent to Arthur revealed a different reality. exposing instances where she took advantage of me by manipulating me into paying for her car repairs while secretly saving money for her escape plan. The emails also disclosed her lies about working late when she was actually spending time at sound healing circles with Arthur. As Jen read through the spreadsheet that itemized gift values, apartment listings in Arizona, and the disrespectful remarks Catherine made about her own mother, she was taken aback by the depth of deception. Who would never comprehend her journey? Little Jean pondered this to herself. Can I get copies of this ready-made? You have a USB drive. Jean embraced me, saying, "You're a good man to live for her." "I'm so sorry." I reassured her, "Not your fault, Jen." She retorted, "The hell it isn't." I raised her. Later that day, the family group chat erupted. Catherine's dad, who had already given us $5K for the wedding, was especially vocal. Her brother Sean, who never approved of Lee, messaged me directly. "You'll just sell the folder with actual hell. You need a beer." The situation was shifting, but Catherine was still unaware. She was in Sedona with Arthur, sharing Instagram stories about new beginnings and authentic living. Authentic, right? Update. Catherine found out her family is aware of everything. The fallout has been intense. Friday morning, she appeared at the apartment while I was at work. According to my doorbell camera, she sampled her tea, noticed the locks would change, and then stood outside for 10 minutes having what seemed like a heated conversation on the phone. Judging by her gestures, he found the boxes, filled with all her belongings neatly packed and labeled, placed by the door along with a note. As requested, best wishes on your journey, your safety net. She kicked the boxes, a touch of class. At 1:47 a.m. she tried calling me, but I chose not to answer. When texts began flooding in at 1:45 a.m. pleading, "We need to talk. This is a misunderstanding. I was going through a tough time." Arthur meant nothing. Poor Arthur. Can't share my private information. That's illegal. I will take legal action. Please, I'm sorry. Pick up the phone. You're ruining my life. By 2:15 p.m., her mother called me in a state of panic. It turned out that Arthur had also discovered her exit plan, courtesy of Sean, who had sent it to him. Arthur had broken up with her, citing negative energy and trust issues, blocking her in the process. She was now attempting to return home. Her father refused to allow her back into the house. Surprisingly, Arthur, the supposedly enlightened soul guru, did not want to be with someone who had deceived their fiancée. Quite the revelation. By 3 p.m., I received a text from Hannah. "You're heartless. She's falling apart." I acknowledged her message. Later, Catherine's father called me and said, "Son, I have transferred the 5K back into my account that was meant for our wedding, not a deceitful scheme by her." I also learned that she claimed you were pressuring her to quit her job after the wedding. Is that accurate? No, sir. In fact, I supported her art career and even funded her studio space. If you need assistance, do not hesitate to contact me. Jacqueline, a close friend, sends a text at 6 p.m. Just witnessed everything. What is happening? Is this true? She told me you were abusive. Catherine's post on Facebook reads, "Going through a very difficult time. The people you trust the most can betray you in unimaginable ways. Starting anew with only the clothes on my back. Anyone have a couch I can stay on?" Feeling betrayed and needing support. The responses to her post were harsh. It appears that attempting to deceive wedding guests can lead to personal offense. However, the unexpected part was receiving a call from an unknown number. "Hello, is this a safety net?" A young and nervous voice asked, "Who is this?" "I'm Ryan. I matched with Catherine on Hinge around 3 months ago. She told me she was single, and we've been talking." "My dude, let me tell you a story. Final update. It's been a week since everything exploded. Time for the finale, I guess. After talking to Ryan, the poor kid's 24 and thought he found the one. I discovered Catherine had profiles on 3 dating apps, all listed as single, all started 6 months ago. Arthur wasn't even her only backup plan. She had a whole roster. Ryan, some investment banker named Chase, and a guy called Moon Whisper. I can't make this up. I forwarded everything to her family. Her dad's response was just Jesus Christ. Saturday night, she showed up at my apartment again. This time I was home. I watched through the peephole as she stood there, mascara running, holding the gas station coffee and looking like hell. "I know you're in there," she said to the door. "Your car's here." I didn't move. "I messed up, okay? I know. I act scared of marriage or being tied down. I'm only 28, and I felt like my life was ending. Still didn't move. But I realized Arthur's an idiot. He thinks the moon landing was fake. After 11 p.m., Moon and Whisper were the only texts. Eugene, not his real name. Almost laughed at that. You were real stable and loved me even in my mess. I admit, I was stupid. Then she uttered the magic words. Prenup, counseling, passwords, and quitting apps. Please open the door. So I did. Catherine's face lit up, relieved to see her Uber arrive. Her Uber's here, she smiled. I had watched her on the door cam and called one for my address. What? You left your art supplies in box 3, didn't want them damaged. Your engagement ring from last month when you needed spaces there too. But I'm sorry, trying to fix this, she pleaded. Fix what? You ended it via text. I acknowledge we're done. Can't be serious over one mistake. Catherine, you created a spreadsheet, had a formula for emotional damage compensation. Called me boring in emails to your A. Astrology boyfriend? That's not a mistake. That's a business plan. Everyone deserves a second chance. Sure, just not with me. Your Uber's waiting. She stood there for a moment. Then her face changed, the tears stopped, the mask dropped. You know what? Fine. You are boring. You'll never find someone like me again. Promise. She grabbed her box and stormed to the Uber. But not before I hope you die alone with your stupid spreadsheets. Better than dying broke with a cheater. The Uber drove off. Haven't heard from her since. Apparently still checks on me. Sean and I are actually going to a game next week. Jean sends me recipes because apparently I'm too skinny. Her dad offered me a job at his company. I'm considering it. The wedding venue gave me a full credit, using it to throw a dodge bullet party next month. Open bar, good food, and no astrology boyfriends allowed. My buddy's bringing his camera to document people actually having fun. She's couch surfing and trying to become a life coach for women in transition. First post. How to know when to leave your toxic relationship. The irony is not lost on me. As for me, I'm good. Better than good. Kept the ring selling it. Kept my dignity and kept my savings. Started therapy to work through the trust issues. Joined a hiking group and finally took that coding boot camp I've been putting off. Oh, and I changed my Wi-Fi name to SafetyNet. Every time I log in, I laugh. To everyone who's been through similar stuff, you're not alone. Sometimes the trash takes itself out, sometimes you have to help it along. Either way, better to find out before the wedding than after. And to anyone who thinks I was too harsh, she literally had a spreadsheet calculating how to rob me. I gave her boxes and an Uber. I think I was pretty reasonable. Peace out, Reddit. Going to go be predictable and boring at trivia night with my friends. So far, no. I don't regret anything. And yes, Sean says hi, hit it too. Catherine found the post. Our comment was deleted for violating sub-rules. But the TLDR was, I'm manipulative and violated her privacy. Maybe violated our entire relationship. Also, hi, Catherine. Edit 3. Arthur reached out. Wants to clear his chakras of the situation. Told him to try sage or therapy, preferably therapy. Final edit. Turning off notifications, living my boring, predictable life. Thanks for the support, Reddit. Remember, when someone shows you who they are, believe them even if it's in a spreadsheet.